Okay. So in this case, insect physiology means it includes physiology and biochemistry of the insect organ systems. Insect physiology means it includes physiology and biochemistry of insect organ systems. So insect body divided into head, thorax, abdomen. We know that one. You can see ICP, the International Center for Insect Physiology and Ecology. International Center for Insect Physiology and Ecology. So it was located at Nairobi, Kenya. Nairobi, Kenya. So International Center for Insect Physiology and Ecology. So like that only you can see these pictures. So father of insect physiology. So Ridley Schwartz, father of insect physiology. So he wrote famous book Principles of Insect Physiology. So the Principles of Insect Physiology was written by Ridley Schwartz. Ridley Schwartz, the father of insect physiology. So that's all about introduction of insect physiology. Audible now? Is it audible now? Hello? Is it audible or not?
It is not clear, sir.
So now?
Okay. But
Okay.
after speaking 2-3 words, it is going on.
Okay. Okay, if it is audible, then we'll start. Is it audible or not? Okay, let's move on topic. So today we'll discuss about insect physiology. Insect physiology. So it includes the different types of systems is there. So today we'll discuss about digestive system of an insect. So first we want to learn about the definition of physiology. Definition of physiology means study of the functioning of living organisms, animal or plant. So whatever it may be, it includes animal or plant, and of the functioning of their constituent tissues or cells. So that is the definition of physiology. So like that only insect physiology, it includes physiology and biochemistry of the insect organ systems. Definition of insect physiology. So ICIPE means International Center for Insect Physiology and Ecology. International Center for Insect Physiology and Ecology. So which was located at Nairobi, Kenya. Nairobi, Kenya. So next you can remember these names. Father of insect physiology, Wrigley Schwartz. So he wrote famous book, Principles of Insect Physiology. Principles of Insect Physiology. So let's move on our topic, digestive system of insects. Digestive system of insects. Based on the consumption of food, digestive system will be modified in their body. So based on the consumption of food, so digestive system will modify in their body. So some insects they will feed on solid food. Some insects they will feed on liquid food. So like that only some insects they will feed on wool, or wood, cellulose, whatever it may be. So insects it may be phytophagous means they will feed on plants. Entomophagous it means they will feed on insects. So wood borers it means they will feed on wood. Wool borers, wool feeders. So different types of feed habits is there. So based on those feed habits, based on those consumption of food, the digestive system will modify in their body. So can see here. So based on the food material ingested only. So there are structural modifications in the digestive system of insects. So based on food habits, if it is feeding on solid food materials, solid food, then it will have biting and chewing type of mouth parts only. So you can imagine solid food, how it will grind. So with the help of the use is feeding on the solid food materials, it must possess the biting and chewing type of mouth parts. If it is feeding on sap feeders, means liquid food, then it will have piercing and sucking type of mouth parts. Sucking type of mouth parts is there. So based on the consumption of bits only, I'll just find it. It is Okay. Okay, student, is it audible or not? Hello? Okay, sorry for the inconvenience because of poor signal. It is disconnecting. So the elementary canal in insects which can extending from mouth to anus, so which is divided into an anterior stomodium. So anterior stomodium, and we can also call as foregut. So like that only midgut. So in case of middle midgut is there, or mesenteron or stomach or ventriculus. So midgut we can also call as mesenteron, stomach or ventriculus, and posterior hindgut is there. Posterior hindgut we can also call as proctodium. So posterior hindgut we can also call as proctodium. So you can see here. So the alimentary canal, so which is longer in phytophagous insects. So insects, they will feeding on plants. So phyto means plants, phagus means eatings. Some insects, they will feed on plants. So like that only some insects, they will feed on insects, that is called as entomophagus. So these type of alimentary canal, which is longer in phytophagous insects and shorter in entomophagous insects. Alimentary canal, which is longer in phytophagous insects and shorter in carnivorous insects. So the true salivary glands, you can remember this one. So the true salivary glands in insects are labial glands only. So labial glands, nothing but true salivary glands. So in case of mouth parts, upper labrum, inner labium is there. So mandibles, maxillae, labial pulpi. So those labial pulpi, so there it will look at these true salivary glands in insects are called as labial glands only. So mandibular glands is there, labial glands is there, maxillary. So different types of glands is there. But true salivary glands in insects are labial glands only. So in case of examinations, they will ask this type of bit. So which one of the following is a true salivary glands in insects? Labial glands are the true salivary glands in insects. So like that only in caterpillars. So caterpillars. So in case of lepidopterans, caterpillar is different, adult is different. So in case of caterpillars, biting and chewing type of mouthparts is there. But in case of adults, siphoning type of mouthparts is there. So different types of mouthparts in different stages. So that's why in case of caterpillar stage, it means in lepidopterans order, in case of caterpillar stage, so those labial glands which are modified into silk glands, but mandibular glands is also there. So they can secrete the saliva. So labial glands are modified into silk glands, and mandibular glands, it can secrete the saliva. So you can remember these 2 points. So those salivary glands in insects are labial glands. In case of caterpillars, labial glands are modified into silk glands, and mandibular glands, they can secrete the saliva. Okay, so like that only in case of dipterans or the dipterans. So those salivary glands, it contain the chromosomes. So polytonic means gained big chromosome is there. So which is occur in salivary glands of dipterans only. So these Balbiani rings are the site of RNA and protein synthesis. So this is the site of RNA and protein synthesis. Balbiani rings. You can remember this point also. So finally, these alimentary canal in case of insects, so which extend from mouth to anus. So it can start mouth and ends with anus. So that's why it extends from mouth to anus. So which is divided into an anterior stomodium or foregut. So simply we want to call as foregut, midgut, hindgut. Foregut, midgut, hindgut. So if it is anterior, we want to call as foregut. If it is in middle, we want to call as midgut. If it is in last, we want to call as hindgut. So foregut we can also call as stomodium. Stomodium is nothing but foregut. So midgut we will also call as mesenteron. Midgut or mesenteron or ventriculus or stomach, whatever it may be, midgut. So major digestion, it will take place in these midgut only. So and finally, last one, hindgut. finally last one hindgut. So finally last one hindgut. Okay, you can see here. So the foregut and the hindgut are ectodermal in origin. So you can remember these bit. So you can remember this point. It's a very, very important bit. So they will ask like this only foregut, which is ectodermal or endodermal origin. So foregut is ectodermal in origin, like that only endodermal, hindgut are ectodermal in origin. Both foregut and hindgut are ectodermal in origin. So like that only midgut is endodermal in origin. Midgut is endodermal in origin. So you can see these pictures. So this is the digestive system of an insect. So it is the mouth. So we can start with mouth region. So ends with anus region. So these two are external openings is there. Mouth is externally open to outside. Anus also externally open to outside. So that's why these are ectodermal in origin. So ecto means outside. So endo means inside. So you can see here midgut. So there is no opening to outside. So that's why it is an endodermal in origin. You can see ectodermal. So both are ectodermal because these are opening to outside. So that's why it's are ectodermal in origin. So you can remember these 2 points, ectodermal. So you can see here from mouth to proventriculus. Mouth to proventriculus we want to call as foregut. Foregut or stomodium. So we can start with mouth, we can end with proventriculus. Proventriculus we can also call as gizzard or proventriculus. The parts of foregut are, so we can start with mouth, pharynx, esophagus, and gizzard. And you can see we can also call it. And then ileum, colon, under hindgut region. So you can see this is the diagrammatic representation of insect digestive system. So we can start with the mouth, we can end with anus. Okay. So in case of solid feeders, it will be very hard particles system, hard particles. So at that time, so with the help of mouth, biting and chewing type of mouth parts, those hard particles will grind here. So it will grind here. So it will grind here. So in case of these mouth parts, later it will move into the pharynx. So from pharynx to esophagus, from esophagus to crop. So from crop to gizzard or proventriculus. So later it will enter into the midgut. Later it will enter midgut. So first hard particles, it will be divided into small particles. So later entire digestion it will take place. Here they will secrete some enzymes. Major digestion it will take place in midgut region only. Midgut regions. So here digestion takes place. From here onwards we can get the energy. So because of these midgut region only, we will get energy. So later hindgut is there. So again reabsorption of undigested food or reabsorption from minerals or water, it will take place in these hindgut regions only. Okay. So you can see diagrammatic representation of insect digestive system. So foregut, midgut, hindgut. So foregut. So you can see here pharynx, esophagus, crop, gizzard, or proventriculus or gizzard. Okay, you can stomodial, two types of valves is there. Stomodial valve or esophageal valve or pyloric valve. So stomodial valve it is present in between foregut and midgut. Pyloric valve is present in between midgut and hindgut. So you can remember these two valves also. Stomodial valve or pyloric valve. So stomodial is nothing but esophageal valve. So cardiac or stomodial or whatever it may be, same only. So pyloric, it is present in between midgut and hindgut. So you can see here elementary canal, which is divided into 3 parts. Those are foregut, we can also call as stomodium. Midgut, we can also call as mesenteron or stomach or ventriculus. Hindgut, so we can also call as a proctodium. Hindgut, we can also call as proctodium. So first we will discuss about foregut. So foregut means anterior, the anterior part of the alimentary canal. So entire alimentary canal means it includes three parts: foregut, midgut, hindgut. So among those alimentary canal, among that alimentary canal, foregut is the anterior part of the alimentary canal. So it starts with mouth cavity and ends with gizzard or proventriculus. So we already discussed with this point. So we can start with gizzard. We can start with mouth cavity and ends with gizzard or proventriculus. So these are the parts of foregut: mouth, pharynx, esophagus, crop, and gizzard. So these are the parts of foregut region. So in case of mouth cavity, so mouth cavity, how it will form? So with the help of upper lip, lower lip, you can imagine our body. First, you can imagine our body. So you can imagine our body. So first, you can imagine our body. So our body mouth parts is there. You can imagine our mouth parts. So upper lip is there, lower lip is there. So like that only insect. So upper lip, lower lip. So upper lip we want to call as a labrum. So lower lip we want to call as labium. So in case of these entomology words, so in case of these entomology, so upper lip means labrum only, lower lip as labium. So like that only mandibles is there, mandibles, maxilla, which are located laterally. So and the hypopharynx is also there, tongue-like structures, hypopharynx, so which is located at the center of mouth parts. So mouth parts. So with the help of those mouth parts, these mouth parts, so grinding it will take place. Grinding takes place with the help of mandibles, grinding of the food. So in case of solid feeders, food particles are very hard in structures. So at that time, it will grind the food. So with the help of mouth parts, first it will grind. So you can imagine rice mill. You can imagine rice mill. So processing how it will take place. So like that only our mouth parts, it can divide it into fine, small particles. So hard particles, very large, big particles, it was divided into small particles. Then it will enter into the pharynx. So next immediate mouth, it will lead to pharynx only. So you can see here, so pre-oral cavity. So pre-oral cavity between epipharynx and hypopharynx. So we want to call it cibarium. So you can imagine our mouth. So tongue is there. So in case of tongue, below the tongue, saliva it can secrete. So above the tongue, so that is called as cibarium. Salivary means below the tongue. So below the tongue, it can secrete saliva. Upper means it will enter into the pharynx. So you can imagine our mouth. So below the tongue only, we can secrete the saliva. Upper regions, it will not secrete saliva. Only lower region, it can secrete saliva. So that's why pre-oral cavity between hypopharynx and salivary duct. So we want to call it salivarium. So pre-oral cavity between epipharynx and hypopharynx. So we want to call it cibarium. Cibarium is different, salivarium. Salivary means it can secrete saliva below the tongue region. Okay, so let's move on pharynx. So another one, mouth over. Next pharynx. So mouth, it will lead into the pharynx. So this is the region between mouth and esophagus. So next is in esophagus. So that's why it is present in between mouth and esophagus. So next, these pharynx. So how it will work? So these pharynx, it can pushes the food into the esophagus. Just it can pass the food into the esophagus. So from mouth, the food is there. From mouth, it will come food. So later, it can pass through pharynx. Food will pass through pharynx into the esophagus. So in case of sucking insects, so in case of filter chambers are present in case of sucking insects. So at that time, pharynx, it can act as sucking pump. So pressure it will create. So ultimately, those blood or whatever it may be, plant juice, it can enter into inside the body. So it can create some pressure. It can act as a sucking pump. So next one, esophagus. Third one, esophagus. So it is the narrow part of the foregut. So narrow part of the foregut. So I already shown the diagrams how the esophagus look like. Very narrow part of the foregut. So throughout which food get transported from the pharynx into the crop. So next region, crop. So that's why food it will transport from pharynx into the crop region. So with the help of those esophagus, it can act as a transport medium. So it can transmit from pharynx into the crop. So which conducts the food into the crop, so which conducts the food into crop only. So next, crop region. So it is the sac-like structure. So which is the dilated form. So it mainly serves as the purpose of storage of food materials. So it can store the food materials. It can store the food materials. So these crop, it can act as a food reservoir because it will store the food. So it can store the food. So that's why we want to call as a reservoir. So it crop acts as a food reservoir. So in case of lateral diverticulum, so in case of crop, lateral diverticulum it is present. So in case of botfly larva or lucilla larva or botfly. So lucilla larva is nothing but botfly. So lateral diverticulum in crop is present in botfly larva only. But in case of bees, so hymenopterans, so in case of bees, so crop is called as the honey stomach. So because their nectar conversion will occur. Nectar conversion will occur in these crop regions only. So next one, gizzard. So gizzard. So proventriculus we can also call as proventriculus. Gizzard we can also call as proventriculus. So gizzard, it is the posterior part of the foregut, not the alimentary canal. The anterior part of the alimentary canal means foregut. So posterior part of the foregut, because it can start with mouth and ends with proventriculus or gizzard. It can start with the mouth, ends with proventriculus or gizzard. So it is highly musculated. So it is found in the solid feeders only and absent in fluid feeders. So fluid feeders means some insects, hemipterans. So they will suck sap from. So piercing and sucking type of mouthparts is there. So in case of those mouthparts, so this gizzard is absent. So it is found in solid feeders only. So peritrophic membrane is also present in solid feeders only. So it is a small constructed part of the alimentary canal. So gizzard, so which is a small constructed part of the alimentary canal, which consists of the cuticular intima layer. So intima layer it is present, cuticular intima layer, it is present in foregut and hindgut. Foregut and hindgut. So it is modified into teeth-like denticles. So teeth-like denticles. So that helps the grinding the food materials. So it will helps for grinding the food materials. So you can see here. So in case of cockroaches, teeth-like denticles. So in case of cockroach, crickets, and grasshoppers, so it will have 6 chitinous plates. If you dissect the foregut, these gizzard digestive system. So if you dissect those digestive system, it will contain pharynx, esophagus, crop, gizzard. If you dissect these gizzard also, then you can see 6 chitinous plates is there. So in case of cockroach and crickets and grasshoppers. So if you digest those, if you dissect these cockroach, crickets, and grasshoppers, then you can see these 6 chitinous plates under microscope only. So teeth, which can be useful to grinding or strain the food materials, which are useful for grinding of food materials only. So like that only in case of bees, honey bees, so 4 mobile lips is there. So 4 mobile lips, so which are armed with a number of spines in case of honey bees, so which can separate the pollen grains from the nectar. So which can separate the pollen grains from the nectar. So next, nectar conversion, it will occur in the crop. So like that only spine-like in fleas. So fleas, so spine-like in fleas to break the blood corpuscles, so which are present in fleas. So next you can see here the entire food, so it can flow from the foregut to midgut, so which is regulated through the cardiac valve. So cardiac valve we can also call as esophageal valve or cardiac valve. So it is present in between foregut and midgut. So cardiac valve. So in case of ICAR examinations, so they will ask this one. So which type of valve is present in between foregut and hindgut? So cardiac is nothing but esophageal valve. So in case of options, so first option they will give cardiac. Second option they will give esophageal. So third option they will give both. Okay. Fourth option they will mention none of the above. So both options, so don't confuse it. So first you can read those options. Cardiac is there or esophageal is also there. So that's why you want to choose option C. So don't confuse there. So cardiac is nothing but esophageal valve. Okay, after that gizzard, the foregut which forms in the stomodeal valve. So cardiac valve, stomodeal valve, esophageal valve. So whatever it may be. So which is surrounded by the gastric or hepatic cica. So this is the part of midgut, gastric or hepatic cica or enteric cica, which may vary from 5 to 6 in number. So if you dissect, so those gizzard, So internally foregut, it consists of the following layers. If you dissect under microscope, if you see under microscope, then you can see these layers. So innermost intima layer is there. So next epithelial cells is there, followed by epithelial cells. Next followed by basement membrane is there. Next followed by longitudinal muscle system. And finally circular muscle system. Circular muscle system. So next, that's all about foregut. That's all about foregut. So let's move on midgut region. So midgut, so it is, we can also call as mesenteron or stomach or ventriculus. Ventriculus. Midgut we can also call as mesenteron or stomach or ventriculus. So in case of ICR examinations, so they will ask indirect bits. So sometimes they will ask stomach. Sometimes they will ask mesenteron. So it means midgut only. So can remain like that only. So just don't read only midgut. So you can remember these options also, mesenteron or stomach or ventriculus. So whatever it may be, same only. Midgut we can also call as mesenteron, stomach or ventriculus. So it is endodermal in origin. So I already told that. So foregut and hindgut, so which are external opening to outside. So that's why it's are ectodermal in origin. But in case of midgut, so it is, there is no external opening. So it is the inside of the body. So that's why we want to call as endodermal in origin. But foregut you can see is here outside opening is there. So hindgut anus, it is outside opening is there. So that's why it's are ectodermal in origin, means external outside. But in case of midgut, endodermal. So this part there is no cuticular lining. So in case of midgut, cuticular lining is absent. But in case of foregut and hindgut, cuticular lining is there. But in case of midgut, cuticular lining is absent. So major digestion it will take place. Major digestion and absorption it will take place in these midgut regions only. So best examples pH, pH only. So in case of lepidopterans and trichopterans, so pH is 8 to 10. So it means alkaline. So alkaline pH it is present in lepidopterans and trichopterans. So that's why Bt cotton. So you can remember these pointers. Bt cotton, which is highly effective on alkaline pH. So Bt cotton, which is highly effective on alkaline pH only. So it means lepidopteran caterpillars, so which are susceptible to these Bt cottons only. So major damages. So that's why we want to apply Bt formulations on bollworms. So that is the recommendation dose. Recommendation dose. So in case of biocontrol, some microbial control, we want to apply these Bt formulations against bollworms, because bollworms means lepidopterans only. So lepidopterans means alkaline pH is there. Bt it will act on saline, alkaline soil only. It will act to or it will germinate only on alkaline pH. So in case of human beings, our pH is acidic. So that's why Bt it will not cause damage to our body. So it will not cause damage to human beings. So in case of alkaline pH, it is present in Lepidoptera as well as Trichopterans. So there are 30 different types of orders is there. So only Lepidopterans and Trichopterans pH. So the gut contain alkaline pH. Midgut region contain alkaline pH. So that's why these two order insects are highly effective against Bt formulations. So that's why you want to recommend Bt formulations against these Lepidopteran pests. Okay, so same structurally midgut, so it consists of inner peritrophic membrane is there. So you can remember this point. Peritrophic membrane is present in which part? Foregut, midgut, or hindgut. So midgut contain peritrophic membrane. So a layer of epithelial cells is there, and basement membrane is there, and circular muscles and longitudinal muscles. But in case of foregut, circular last, longitudinal fourth place. But in case of midgut, only these difference is there. Circular muscles will come first, next followed by longitudinal muscles. So first we will discuss about peritrophic membrane. First we will discuss about peritrophic membrane. Later we will discuss about enteric or hepatic cecum, because these are the parts of midgut. So these are the parts of midgut. Hepatic cecum, enteric cecum, peritrophic membrane. Okay, these are the parts of midgut. First we will discuss about peritrophic membrane. The peritrophic membrane. In case of midgut, so it consists of a inner delicate layer. So that is called as peritrophic membrane. Very delicate. So very delicate layer. So that is called as peritrophic membrane. So which is secreted by the epithelial cells of midgut only. So epithelial cells. So in case of midgut, some cells is their columnar cells, regenerative cells, goblet cells. So it can secrete those epithelial cells. So midgut, it consists of an inner delicate layer that is called as peritrophic membrane, so which is secreted by the epithelial cells only. So those peritrophic membrane, so it can protect the tender epithelial cells of the midgut. So it can protect the tender epithelial cells of the midgut from abrasion by hard food particles. So in case of solid feeders, these peritrophic membrane present. In case of solid feeders, peritrophic membranes. Solid means very hard particles is there. So it will enter into midgut. But in case of midgut, so very delicate cells is there, epithelial cells, because this is the major digestion it will take place in midgut. So at that time, these hard particles, it will damage those epithelial cells. So that's why these peritrophic membrane, it can form outer coating around these hard particles. Okay. So this peritrophic membrane, it protects the tender epithelial cells of the midgut from abrasion by hard food particles. So there is no mucus is secreted in the insect. So that feeds on the solid food materials only. So those peritrophic membranes, it can form a coat over the food particles because it's a very hard like structures, very hard particles. It will damage those epithelial cells. So that's why these peritrophic membrane, it can secrete a coat over the food particles. So every food particle is coat with those, every food particle coated with some mucus or coat over the food particles. Then there is no damage will occur to these epithelial cells of the midgut only. Okay. So this layer is said to be permeable to the digestive enzymes, which is permeable to the digestive enzymes. Okay. So that's why it can secrete some coat over the food particles from the products of digestion. So when the digestion takes place, then these coat will digest first. Then food particle will expose it to outside. So it is present in solid feeders and absent in sap feeders. Peritrophic membrane is present in solid feeders and absent in sap feeders. So these peritrophic membrane, so which is absent in fluid feeders, except one adult is the Pieris brascae. You can see this picture. This is the Pieris brascae, cabbage butterfly. So peritrophic membrane actually, which is absent in fluid feeders, except one adult is there, that is the Pieris brascae. Pieris brascae. So cabbage butterfly. So these peritrophic membrane, which is absent in solid feeders like ant and larva of Anthracis. Actually, it is present in solid feeders. Don't confuse it. So in case of solid feeders, peritrophic membrane present. But in case of fluid feeders, peritrophic membrane is absent. Some exemptions is there. Those are in case of Pieris brascae, in case of fluid feeders, Pieris brascae. So like that only peritrophic membrane, so which is absent in solid feeders like ant and larva of Anthracis. So in case of dipterans orders, so midgut, in case of midgut region, so which is divided into anterior cardiac and posterior ventricular part. So anterior, only midgut regions only it can divide it into two parts. That is anterior cardiac part and posterior ventricular part. So ventriculus, it means midgut only, so which is divided into four parts in hemipterans. So in case of dipterans, two parts is there. Those are anterior cardiac and posterior ventriculus. But in case of hemipterans, mean bugs, so there is four parts is that midgut is divided into four parts. So this midgut is a closed sac in diaspits and coccyx. So midgut is a closed sac in diaspits and coccyx. So diaspits and coccyx scale insects. So in case of those insects, so these midguts are closed sac. Closed sac. So in case of larval hymenopterans and neuropterans, in case of larval hymenopterans and neuropterans, the connection between midgut and hindgut is absent. So connection between midgut and hindgut is absent. So next one, gastric caecae or enteric caecae or hepatic caecae, whatever it may be, same only. Gastric caecae or enteric caecae or hepatic caecae, whatever it may be. So these are the finger-like outgrowths. So finger-like outgrowth, so which is found in anterior or posterior ends of midgut. anterior end or posterior ends of midgut only. So these structure, so it can increase the functional area of midgut, the functional area of midgut, and it can also give shelter to the symbiotic bacteria. In case of termites, cellulose digestion is there. So with the help of those symbiotic associations, then it can digest the cellulose wood particles. So gastric or enteric or hepatic cicae, so which are generally 2 to 6 in numbers. But in case of cockroaches, mantids, and larval culicids, so culicidae, family culicidae means mosquitoes only. Okay, in case of cockroaches, mantids, and mosquitoes, so these are 18 number, gastric cicae, enteric cicae, or hepatic cicae, but which are absent in Collembola bolus and Lepidopteran. Gastric cicae, enteric cicae, or hepatic cicae, so which are absent in Collembola and Lepidopteran. And these gastric cicae, it can increase the area of absorption only. So it can increase the area of absorption. So in certain immature stages of insects, so immature stages means larva stages or grub stages or mago stages. So those stages, midgut is not connected to the hindgut. So till pupation in case of honey bee grub. So in case of honey bee grub, so midgut is not connected to the hindgut till the pupation purpose. Next, there are 3 types of cells is there. Those are columnar cells, regenerative cells, and goblet cells. So 3 types of cells are present in midgut. Those are columnar cells, regenerative cells, and goblet cells. So first we will discuss about columnar cells. So columnar means these are columnar in shape. So columnar means that these are columnar in shape, so which will vary in size. So it can release the enzymes also. So it can release the enzymes through a series of microvilli, so which are arranged in the brush borders. So it look like our toothbrush. So which are arranged in a brush border or a honeycomb border. So with the help of those microvilli, it can secretes or releases the enzymes. So that is the function of columnar cells. Next, regenerative cells. Regenerative, the name itself indicates the answer. So if any cells are damaged, so again it can regenerate. So these epithelial cells, so which are involved in the production or formation of new cells, so which are the formation of new cells are to replace the old columnar cells, so which are involved in the holocrine secretion of enzymes. So there are 2 types of secretions there, holocrine and eucrine. So we'll discuss later. So these arranged, so this is arrangement. So these regenerative cells may be arranged either in groups or may be in scattered. So which may be arranged in groups or may be scattered, means scattered, or sometimes singly also. So if they are arranged in groups or clusters, we want to call as a nidhi. So you can remember this point. So nidhi means total, entire, we want to find at some place only. It's arranged either in groups. So that's what we want to call as a nidhi. Next, third one, goblet cells. Goblet cells mainly serve for storage and excretion. Goblet cells. So just you can remember this nidhi. So if they are arranged in groups, we want to call as nidhi. So next, filter chambers. So these are filter chambers. So in case of fluid feeders, meaning in case of sucking type of mouth parts, so these filter chamber is present. So in case of solid feeders, peritrophic membrane is there. But in case of fluid feeders, are piercing and sucking type of mouth parts, so filter chambers are present. So you can see here, these are the filter chambers. So this is the filter chambers, means excess dilution. So it can give pass from the hindgut at the start of midgut to hindgut, anterior part of the hindgut. So there is no passage between midgut region. So this is the characteristic arrangement of midgut in hemipterans insects. So like fluid feeders, hemipterans insects are fluid feeders. So the anterior part of the midgut, so which forms a thin walled bladder. So only anterior part of the midgut, you can see here, anterior part of the midgut, so which can form a thin walled bladder. So that is the filter chambers. So filter chambers, which is closely bound to either posterior part of the midgut. So anterior part of the midgut, it is closely bound to posterior part of the midgut, anterior to posterior, and the middle region of the midgut is absent. middle regions, because middle region contain the enzyme secretion. Different types of cells is there, columnar cells, regenerative cells, and goblet cells. So it means excessive dilution is there. So in case of solid feeders, so they want to digest or they want to dilute. So because foods are very hard in structure, hard particles. But in case of fluid feeders, there is no dilution because that is the liquid. It's already digested liquid. So that's why they can develop, they can modify their digestive system as filter chambers. So filter chambers. Because if it is entering into the midgut, then excessive dilution, excess energy takes place. So they need more energy. So that's why they modified these digestive system. So they developed filter chambers because a liquid food, so there is no to digester. So if it is in solid food, then definitely they want to digest. Then there is no modification in these filter chambers. So if it is a liquid food, definitely they want to undigested because already digested food. So liquid means already digested. So if it is passing through these midgut, then they need more energy. So that's why they developed these filter chambers. So these filter chambers, it can enables the excess fluids, including the sugars in the food. The excess fluids, including sugars in the food, to pass directly from the anterior part of the midgut to the hindgut. So without passing through the middle portion of the midgut. So that's why it can prevent the dilution of hemolymph enzymes. So it can facilitate better enzyme activity also. So best examples of it. So they can secrete honeydew, which are sugars rich. So you can see here filter chambers. Anterior part of the midgut, so it can form a thin bladder, thin walled bladder. So that is the filter chamber, so which is closely bound to either posterior part of the midgut or anterior hindgut and Malpighian tubules only. So these filter chambers, it can enable the excess fluids, including sugars in the food, to pass directly from the anterior part of the midgut to anterior part of the midgut to the hindgut without passing through the middle portion of the midgut. So that's why it can prevent the excessive dilution of hemolymph enzymes and facilitate better enzyme activity. So like that only best examples in case of aphids. So honeydew secretion is the substance that is being excreted after passing through the filter chambers. Okay. Next, let's move on. Final hindgut, posterior part of the alimentary canal, that is hindgut. So we can also call as proctodium. So proctodium, and which is lined by the intima. So intima layer, it is present in foregut and hindgut, so which is absent in midgut region. So midgut region there is no intima. So it is also called as proctodium, and which is lined by the intima layer. So which is more permeable than that of the foregut. So hindgut is more permeable because they want to reabsorb. So that's why it is more permeable. In case of foregut, there is no absorption. Just they want to grind and it won't pass through the midgut. But in case of hindgut, there is no another gut. So that's why it want to more permeable than the foregut. So they can develop more structures because they want to absorb the water or minerals or whatever it is there excess. So that's why it's more permeable than that of the foregut. So these are the ectodermal in origin only. So because it is external opening to outside, so that's why it is ectodermal in origin, and it is formed by the posterior invaginations of the ectoderm. So anterior invaginations of the ectoderm means foregut. Posterior invaginations of the ectoderm means hindgut only. Okay. So next, the anterior end of the hindgut, which is marked by the presence of a set of Malpighian tubules. And pyloric wall and Malpighian tubules is there. So in case of larval hymenopterans and neuropterans, the connection between midgut and hindgut, so it's the absentum. So in case of larval hymenopterans, only larval stages only. But in case of adult stage, connection between midgut and hindgut is there. So only larval hymenopterans and neuropterans, connection between midgut and hindgut is absent. So that valve at the junction of midgut and hindgut is pyloric valve. So only two types of valve is there: cardiac or stomodeal or esophageal valve, which is present in between foregut and midgut. So like that only pyloric valve, which is present in between hindgut and midgut and hindgut. So another hindgut which is divided into three regions, those are ileum, colon, rectum. So ileum, colon, rectum. So we know that when we already studied in +1, +2. So the main function of hindgut are the absorption of water. The main function means which is the absorption of water, salt, so and other useful substances from the feces. So these are the main functions of hindgut. So that's why which is more permeable than that of the foregut. So more permeable. So in case of the epithelial cells of the rectum, so which is involved in the reabsorption of the water. So epithelial cells which are present in the rectum, ileum, colon, rectum. So which is involved in the reabsorption of water, salts from the fecal matter. Fecal matter means excreta. So water, it is also absorbed in the midgut and rectum. So water which is absorbed in midgut as well as rectum. So these absorption of salts and water from the fecus, so which is carried out by rectal pads only. Salts and water, rectal pads, one. So rectal papillae which is present in ants and aphids. So only if ants and aphids, so it contains rectal papillae. But in case of plant bugs or predators, extraintestinal digestion is there. Extraintestinal digestion, so which is carried out by the proteolytic enzymes only. So in case of plant bugs, partial digestion, it will occur in the host only, host body. So prior to food indigestion only. So that is called as extraintestinal digestion. So that is called as extraintestinal digestion. So ileum, it is a small intestine and tube-like structure and appears as a pouch-like in scarabees and termites. So it looks like a pouch. So the colon may or may not be present. So if it is present, which leads to the rectum. So in case of termites, symbiosis is there. Symbiosis. So these epithelial cells of the rectum may sometimes get differentiated into rectal papillae or pads, which may vary in 3 to 6 in numbers. So reabsorption of water, salts, it will take place in these hindgut only. Next, different types of glands is there. So digestive glands. So those are salivary glands, digestive glands are salivary glands. First one salivary glands, second one hepatic ceca and midgut epithelial cells. Salivary glands, hepatic ceca, midgut epithelial cells. Third one microbes in digestion. So these are the digestive glands, different types of digestive glands. So first one salivary glands. So salivary glands, we already discussed about salivary glands. True salivary glands in insects are labial glands only. So these glands, so which can open at the hypopharynx, so means tongue. So it can open at the base of hypopharynx through small salivary ducts only. So the secretion of the glands, so which contains some enzymes like amylase, lipase, protease, but it never contains cellulose. So cellulose means it is only present in termites only. So because of symbiosis, some bacteria, protozoa, so it can secrete cellulose. So like that only in case of cockroaches. So in case of cockroaches, so a pair of labial glands which can act as a salivary gland. Labial glands which can act as salivary glands. So with the salivary ducts which open into the salivary. But in case of caterpillars, the mandibular glands which are modified into the secrete the saliva. We already discussed this point. Mandibular glands, they can secrete the saliva. Next, functions of saliva. So functions of saliva. Saliva means it can secrete below the tongue regions only. So it can moisten, means moisture. It can moist and to dissolve the food particles. So to dissolve the food particles and to lubricate the mouth parts. So lubrication purpose. It means it will keep always wet conditions. So it will give our mouth in wet only. So if it is drying, then we want to take some water. So like that only. So it can lubricate the mouth. So it can add flavor to gustatory receptors. So it can give flavor to the gustatory receptors. So like that only in case of cockroach. So these saliva contain the enzyme amylase. So amylase, it can digest the starch. So like that only in case of honeybees. Their saliva contain the invertase. So invertase means sucrose digestion. Sucrose. So invertase, it can digest the sucrose. So like that only justids or leafhoppers are justids. So their saliva contain the lipids and protease. So it can digest the lipids as well as proteins. So lipase, it can digest the lipids. Protease, it can digest the proteins. So these justid saliva, so it can also contain the toxin, so which can produce tissue necrosis. So with the help of piercing and sucking time of mouth parts, They can inject some toxin into the plants. So ultimately, plants will suffer from phytotoxemia. Phytotoxemia. So another functions in case of plant bugs, this saliva contains pectinase. So pectinase, which can also helps in the stylet penetration and extra-intestinal digestion also. But in case of mosquitoes, their saliva contains the anticoagulanum. So anticoagulant, so which can prevent the blood clotting, which can prevent the clotting. So like that only in case of gall midges, their saliva contain the IAA. You can remember this one, IAA, indolestic acid, so which is present in the gall midges. Okay, so in case of disease transmitting insects, so their saliva passes way for the entry of pathogens also. So with the help of these saliva, vectors is there. They can transmit through these saliva. So next one, hepatic secant, midgut epithelial cells. Hepatic secant and midgut epithelial cells. So it can secrete the major digestive juices. So there are two types of cells which are involved in the enzyme secretion. Those are holocrine and merocrine. Holocrine and merocrine. Holo means entire epithelial cells disintegrate in the process of enzyme secretion. Entire epithelial cells, it can disintegrate in the process of enzyme secretion. But in case of merocrine, enzyme secretion occur without cell breakdown. So there is no cell breakdown is there in case of merocrine. But in case of holocrine, entire disintegrate. So in case of holocrine. But in case of merocrine, there is no breakdown of cells. Next, third one, microbes in digestion. So microbes in digestion. So microbes means mastocyte and mystome. So you can remember these two terminologies. What is meant by mastocyte? What is meant by mystome? So it means in case of insect body, some few cells were housing symbiotic microorganisms. So in case of termites, cellulose is necessary for the digestion of food. So at that time, it can give some shelter to these mastocytes. So the cell we want to call as mastocyte. From these mastocytes, it can aggregate to form an organ we want to call as mystomes. So in case of flagellated protozoa, so it can produce a cellulase for cellulose digestion in termites and wood cockroaches. So these flagellated protozoa, so it can provide Okay, is it audible now? Students, please respond. Is it audible now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So sorry for the inconvenience. So there is no signal here. So that's why it's disconnected. So let's move on talk with microbes in digestion. Microbes in digestion. So in case of digestive system, so in the insect body, so the few cells were housing symbiotic microorganisms. So that is called as mastocyte. So in the insect body, few cells were housing symbiotic microorganisms. So that is called as mastocyte. So in case of termites, so these symbiotic microorganisms, it play a major role because it can secrete cellulose. So termite, it cannot secrete cellulose. So that's why these mastocytes, it can secrete symbiotic microorganisms. It can secrete the cellulose. So these mastocytes aggregate to form an organ we want to call as mycetomes. So these mastocytes will aggregate to form an organ we want to call as mycetomes. So in case of these flagellated protozoa, so it can secrete the cellulose for cellular digestion in case of termites and wood cockroaches. So like that only these bacteria, so it can help in the wax digestion in the wax moth. So wax digestion in the wax moth. Wax moth, it will affect on the wax only. So in case of honeybees, we will discuss about wax moth. So in that lecture, we will discuss about wax moth. Just you can remember this point. So this wax moth, it can digest on wax. So that at that time, so these bacteria will helpful to those wax moths. So like that only in case of bed bugs and cockroaches. Bed bugs and cockroaches. So it contains the vitamin and amino acids from these microbes and microorganisms. So sometimes prophylaxis is there. Prophylaxis. There are two types of prophylaxis is there. So oral prophylaxis and anal prophylaxis. So prophylaxis means mouth to mouth exchange. We want to call it oral prophylaxis. So these microbes were transmitted food exchange from prophylaxis. So if it is anal, we want to call as anal prophylaxis. Okay. So next, finally, last topic, process of digestion. So there are 4 steps. There are some points is there. Those are ingestion, transportation, digestion, absorption, and egestion. So these are the points. So during the process of digestion, first ingestion is there. Next, transportation is there. Next, digestion. Next, followed by absorption, and finally egestion. First, we will discuss about ingestion. So ingestion, what is meant by ingestion? So here food is partially digested in the oral cavity. So with the help of salivary enzymes. So saliva, it can secrete under below the tongue only. There it can secrete the saliva. So with the help of those salivary enzymes, it can digest in the mouth cavity and the oral cavity or mouth. So in case of insects like fluid feeders or carnivorous hemipterans or blowfly larvae, so these digestion, it will occur outside the intestine only. So that's why I want to call it extra intestinal. If it is going on intestine, within the intestine, then we want to call it intestinal digestion. If it is going on outside of the intestine, then we want to call it extra intestinal. So additional digestion is there. So that's why we want to call it extra intestinal digestion. Extra intestinal digestion. Next one, transportation. It means they can transport from one part to another part. From foregut to midgut, from midgut to hindgut. So that is the transportation. So with the help of peristaltic movements, slowly it can move from mouth to pharynx. Next, pharynx to crop. Pharynx to esophagus. Esophagus to crop. So later it can enter into the gizzard. So this is the process. So that's why transportation, it can play a major role. Next, third one, digestion. Digestion. So in case of gizzard, so through the stomodeal wall or food passes into the midgut. So major digestion, it will take place in the midgut only. So where actually digestion it can start. So enzymes which are involved in the carbohydrate digestion, that is amylase, protein digestion, peptidase, digestion of lipids, lipase, esterase. So we already discussed under salivary glands, under different types of functions of saliva. We already discussed there. So in case of keratin, so keratin has a disulfide bond. So because of less redox potential, so this disulfide bond, is broken by the Malophaga. So this is the another order, Malophaga. So by the enzyme keratinase. So Malophaga, they will feed on some products. So with the help of keratinase, it can digest. So like that only collagen. So in case of Lucella larva, so it is digested by the collagenase enzymes. So but in case of scarabid beetles, so bacteria which are involved in the digestion, bacteria so which are involved in the digestion. And fourth one, absorption. Fourth one, absorption means absorption of water, ions occur through the rectum only. Absorption. So it will take place midgut as well as hindgut. So midgut epithelial cells, it can absorb the nutrients from the digested food and pass on the fecal matter. So Malpighian tubules, they can maintain an ionic balance. So by absorbing sodium and potassium salts from the blood. Next, you can see here in case of cockroaches, lipids absorption occurs through the crop region. So in case of lipids, it can absorb in the crop region. So like that only in case of termites and scarabeids, so white grubs, so absorption which will occur in the ileum, so ilean region. In case of hindgut, ileum is there. So there it can absorb. So in case of solid feeders, reabsorption of water, it will take place from the feces which will occur in the rectum. So hindgut, reabsorption. So like that only in case of tap feeders, so liquid feeders of the feces, so which is liquid like honeydew. So liquid like this is honeydew. So some additional points. Symbiosis, which is related to symbiosis. The term symbiosis, which is caused by Anton D. Barry. So the concept of symbiosis was defined by Paul Buckner. As if only one type of symbiont it is present, then we want to call as monosymbiosis. If it is two or more different kinds of symbiosis, then we want to call as lucisymbiosis. So that is the symbiotic relationship. If a symbiotic species is artificially deprived of its symbiotic organisms, so then it is called as aposymbiotic. Then we want to call as aposymbiotic. So these symbionts are transmitted externally through the eggshell, that is called as transferial transmission. So prophylaxis is there, mouth to mouth, oral prophylaxis, anal prophylaxis is there. So if these symbionts are transmitted externally through the eggshell only, so that is called as transferial transmission. For example, stored grain pest, Lesioderma and Stegobium. Stored grain pest, Lesioderma and Stegobium. So that's all about digestive system. So if you have any doubt, you can ask now. Regarding of these digestive systems. Because of some network problem, disconnection is there. So I will share that link, don't worry. Yes, if you have any doubt, you can ask me.
Sir?
Yes, please.
So what is the use of lateral diverticulum, sir?
So in case of botfly, larva, so which is present in the Lucella larva. Lucella is nothing the butterfly. So there it can separate. In case of maggots, Lucella means butterfly means maggots only. So the food it is taking some food. So there is conversation. It is there. It will separate the food.
Okay,
it is
sir.
a part. So in case of honeybees, crop separation of nectar and is there. So like that only some part it will help in case of lateral diverticulum.
Okay, sir. So the term symbiosis is coined by who, sir?
The term symbiosis is caused by Anton D. Barry.
And the concept, sir?
Paul Buckner.
Okay, sir.
In case of ICR examinations, just you can note these type of bits. Just you can note these points, whatever I am showing to you. So definitely they will ask these bits only. They will not ask from outside of these topics.
Okay, sir.
Definitely they will ask these topics only. Just you can note down those points.
Okay, sir.
because I am taking points from refresher, entomology treatise, so some PG notes, PhD notes is there. So from those topics, I am taking those important points. Definitely, they will ask these bits on me.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
So now I will share links of last class. Please mute. So now I will share links of last class and before last class. So it will be active up to 1 hour or 2 hours. So whenever we will be free, then you can inform to me. Then only I will share those links to you. So if you are
So-
free now, then I will share.
So what about the notes, sir, regarding these classes?
Regarding of notes, you want to wrote. I will
Actually,
prefer.
we wrote, sir, but
Yes.
actually we wrote, sir, but middle we have not completed the points, sir, so that we require the notes, sir.
So just I will refer some books. Then you can purchase those books.
Okay, sir, then.
So I will also provide some material to you.
Okay,
So I will
sir.
also tell that books you can purchase those books from online, from Amazon or.
Okay, sir.
So now I will share some notes to you.
Okay, sir.
Okay, now I will share them. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
If you are free now, I will share last week class link. Then you can see. So it will be active up to 1 hour or 2 hours. Later it will not active. Whenever you will be free, then inform to me. Then I will share.
Okay, sir. So
Okay.
now I was free, so you can share now.
Okay, I will share.
Now we are free. You can share.
Okay. Thank you.